Nigerian business owners are losing huge income due to inadequate electricity supply in the country. The West African country still struggles to provide enough electricity for its citizens, despite being Africa's largest oil producer. Experts say the government needs to privatize the power sector to avoid further mismanagement of funds. Here's more details of that.
Omoduni Olumide is getting ready for business today. But first, he has to turn on his generator because he has no power supply. Olumide runs a frozen food business that requires steady electricity, but he says he's suffered huge losses as a result of frequent blackouts.
The electricity company, they will give us light for 2 weeks and they will take it for 1 week because this is cold room. The more we don't have light, the more the goods get spoiled, number one, and the higher we buy fuel, for powering generator, we had it up on the cost of the product, whereby it affects our home profit and also affects the citizens that come to patronize us.
Nigeria still struggles to distribute an average of about 4,000 megawatts of electricity for its nearly 200 million population, a far cry from the estimated 180,000 megawatts required by various businesses and households. Decades of government efforts to expand the electricity supply across the country have been met with corruption and mismanagement of funds. And so, about 15 years ago, the federal government made efforts to privatize the industry, but despite this, still regulates the sector even though it's mostly managed by various private firms. Experts say until private firms can run effectively with the right legislative support, the country may not be able to transmit the required megawatts needed for its citizens.
I think the realization for me is that we had a law. This whole reform process was anchored on the Electricity Sector Reform Act. And because we have not implemented it fully the way it was designed to be implemented, and we have neither reviewed it even after the initial implementation, that is why I think the problems continue to plague the industry.
In May, the government reviewed an existing deal with German firm Siemens to upgrade the nation's power infrastructure and expand the country's electricity grid. However, experts say to avoid further mismanagement of funds and corruption in the system, the government will need to completely privatize the power sector.
There's really no silver bullet. We need to move to a private sector-led market, and that's when you get all the efficiencies that you desire. So government trying to audit or police the market does not just work. We've seen it in other sectors. So I think we need to change tack, if you will, to a more reasonable approach to ensure efficiencies are brought in.
The government says it's already working towards reviewing and reenacting the current electricity law in a bid to fully privatize the sector.
Millions of business owners like frozen food dealers are hoping that efforts by the government to put an end to the many years of poor power supply will pay off soon in order for them to recover more profits and improve their business, something experts say could boost Nigeria's economy and attract more investment.